All right, let's talk about the big news shaking up the AI hardware space. A major new partnership has just dropped, and it's a big one. You've got AMD, a titan in high-performance computing, joining forces with Celestica, a name you need to know in data center infrastructure. So, today we're going to dig into their brand new Helios platform, what it is, and more importantly, what it could mean for the entire market.
So here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll look at this new AI alliance. Then, we'll dive into the tech behind their Helios platform. After that, we'll focus on Celestica's critical role, hit the investor's bottom line, and finally, look at what's on the road ahead.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, a new AI alliance. So what's really going on here?
Okay, so here's the headline. Celestica and AMD are teaming up to launch a new AI platform they're calling Helios. Now, I want to be really clear. This isn't just AMD selling some chips to Celestica. No, this is a deep strategic collaboration. Think of it like this. AMD is bringing the horsepower, their super powerful AI chips, and Celestica is building the high-speed highway and the whole city grid that lets all that horsepower actually do something at a massive scale. And you really got to pay attention to the words AMD's leadership is using here. Listen to this. They're calling Helios a new blueprint for AI infrastructure. That's not just marketing fluff. They're not just saying, hey, we made a faster chip. No, they're signaling a much bigger ambition. They're basically trying to rewrite the rules for how huge AI systems are built from the ground up.
So, if Helios is this brand new blueprint, what's actually inside? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the technology that's making all this happen.
So what is this Helios platform really? Well, in simple terms, it's a complete, ready-to-go, rack-scale AI system. The keyword there is rack scale. So instead of a company buying a bunch of different parts and trying to piece them together like a complicated Lego set, this is like getting a pre-built, high-performance engine delivered to your door fully assembled and ready to fire up. The whole point of this design is to get all those GPUs talking to each other at lightning speed, because that communication is literally the lifeblood of these huge, complex AI models.
Okay, so at the core of Helios, you've got AMD's next-generation Instinct GPUs. That's the muscle. But honestly, the most interesting part here is how they're all connected. They're using open standards, things like UALoE and the Open Compute Project form factor. Now, why should you care about that? Well, because open standards is a direct shot at the competition, specifically NVIDIA's closed proprietary ecosystem with things like NVLink. This is a huge deal. It means customers aren't locked into one company's tech, they get more flexibility, more control, and that's a real game changer. Okay, so we know AMD is bringing the raw computing power, but where does Celestica fit into this puzzle? Let's get into their critical role in actually making Helios happen.
You know, this partnership is really symbiotic. It's a perfect match. AMD brings the brains, right? The core GPUs and the overall AI architecture. But Celestica, they provide the nervous system, that vital, high-speed connective tissue, the networking, that allows all those powerful brains to talk to each other instantly without any bottlenecks.
And listen, this next point is absolutely crucial, especially if you're an investor. Celestica is not just some company hired to assemble parts that AMD designed. That's not what's happening. They are a core technology partner involved from the very beginning. We're talking research and development, the actual design of these advanced networking switches, all the way through to manufacturing them at scale. This completely elevates their position. They're not just a builder, they are a fundamental piece of the AI value chain here.
All right, let's get to the bottom line. What does all of this actually mean for your portfolio? Let's break down the real takeaways for investors.
First up, let's talk timeline. The partnership was announced back in March, but the date you need to circle on your calendar is late 2026. That's the target for when the Helios platform will actually be available to customers. And, of course, that's when we can start to see this whole thing translate into real revenue.
And this quote from Celestica's management, it really hits the nail on the head. They're not just talking about products, they're talking about their core strengths, global engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain. You have to remember, right now, just building and deploying this kind of AI hardware at scale is a massive headache for everyone. Celestica is basically saying, we are the solution to that headache. We can make this happen faster.
So let's boil it down to the 3 key takeaways for investors. Number 1, the market opportunity here is absolutely massive. They're targeting the biggest fish in the sea: cloud providers, large enterprises, and major research institutions. Number 2, supply chain. In a world full of hardware shortages, this partnership offers a much-needed dose of resiliency and reliability. And number 3, it's all about reducing the time to value. They're helping organizations get their AI infrastructure up and running faster, which, in the AI race, is a huge competitive edge. Okay, for our last section, let's zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture here, the broader impact on the market.
And all of this really leaves us with one big critical question for the future. Remember how we talked about Helios being built on open standards? Well, the real question is this. How is this open standards approach going to challenge the closed, walled garden ecosystems that are currently dominating the market? You know who I'm talking about. This isn't just a new product launch. You have to see it for what it is, a strategic shot across the bow of the industry leader. It's setting up a battle that is going to be fascinating to watch.
All right, just our standard disclaimer here. Remember, the content in this explainer is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice. Please always do your own research.
And hey, if you got some value out of this analysis, do me a favor and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe to Stock Simplified so you don't miss out on more clear, concise investment breakdowns just like this one. Thanks for tuning in.